everyone to know that you probably already have a view, a little pre-show notching.
I've cheated a little bit.
Yeah. Act surprised when you taste it on camera. Today's product, it's a new twist on an old favorite, lasagna. But instead of eating it on the dinner table, it's now in the snack food aisle. Lasagna chips is what we're going to be talking about. And we're joined by Elaine and Jared Katz, new to the food business and the makers of lasagna chips. Katz's, welcome.
How are you?
You guys familiar with one of my favorite jokes, what has 4 legs and chases cats?
No.
Mrs. Katz and her lawyer.
Hey.
All right, well, done with that. Tell us, Elaine, the story of how you created, because this is your first foray into the food business. How did you create the lasagna chip?
When Jared was about 7, after some tests, he was diagnosed as being moderately ADD, hyperactive. And although we always had a very healthy diet, I decided to really go very heavily into a no preservative, natural diet. And I found that with every infraction, Jared would really go into a hyperactive state. And I said, how could this be when I'm buying all natural? Well, I called all of these companies and they said that if you put a trace amount of BHA or BHT or any food coloring or flavor, it's not necessary to list it, and they can say that they were preservative-free and natural. And at this point, I found it necessary to start manufacturing and being very creative at home. And thus, the lasagna chips were born. And trying to make Jared feel left out, I brought it in for his whole class and eventually was asked to bring them in for cake bake sales. And they became a hit in the neighborhood, and everyone suggested, why don't you go into business? And, well, I tried, but I had 2 small boys at home, and being torn between mothering and a businesswoman, I eventually gave up the business and continued making the snack for everyone in the family. And then Jared, after 9/11, found himself unemployed, and maybe Jared wants to tell you what happened.
Jared, as they sell on television, pick up the story there.
Sure. I was working on Wall Street at a firm called WorldCo, which I don't think it's still around, but we were day trading. It was a lot of fun. And after 9/11 and that whole little era of the internet bubble bursting, there was really not much to do there. And I always thought I was going to work on Wall Street, but I was looking around and I couldn't find a job. So I figured, I'll make my own job. So I looked into various business ideas. I crunched some numbers. I thought about the snack food company my mom tried to start up when I was in high school. I put the numbers together. It looked good. At that point, that's when we first started out, that was when this no-carb diet was very popular. This Atkins diet was very popular. And people are like, what are you doing? You have to make something with soy. And I'm like, look, this stuff tastes like crap. It's horrible. I don't want to eat that. There are other people out there too that want something that tastes good, that, they're not just looking for something with no carbohydrates. I mean, like, everybody knows that if you're going to go to the gym, you're going to work out, you can do something athletic, you have to have carbohydrates, so you can't even perform. So I said, you know what, I'm going to put out a good tasting snack food that's made of carbohydrates, it's made of pasta. And people were very, thinking this way and that way, maybe it won't work. And now we hit the stores, and thank God, people really, really like it. And now this low-carb diet is like dwindling down further and further, and I think that we'll take up the slack for them.
All right, let's bring in the food doctor reporting for surgery. Dr. Moskowitz, first of all, let's talk basics since food before we get to the business side. How are they? How do you
they
like these
are delicious.
Chips?
I'd like to just show the audience we have here Red Velvet, which is a tomato basil, delicious. The Wild West barbecue flavor. Very attractive packaging, by the way. It really catches the eye. Kissed by the Sea, sea salt. So very inventive names. And the perfect marriage. This is very unusual for snack food. My question is, after eating them, and I'm of course going to show you one of them. It's a beautiful, beautiful piece of pasta.
Hold the mic up to your mouth. Howard,
I can't reach Mike, but
I want people to hear how crunchy these are.
It is absolutely super crunchy. It's crunch to die for. But my question is, what makes people try these products? What is special? There's so many products on the market. How do you get people to try this instead of, say, Doritos? Frito-Lay spends a fortune trying to get people to try their snacks, trying to invent new snacks. And here you've come with a whole new category. How do you get it into people's heads? Do you talk to them?
It's quite a challenge. We do tasters, and we're talking with people. I mean, being that we're a small company, we can't, afford national advertising like Doritos does. But just like all these other companies, like Famous Amos Cookies and all these other companies that have come out of the woodwork, eventually, they get their name out there by the product being a high-quality product.
Where are you selling this? Are you selling it on that newfangled interweb the kids are always talking about?
We're actually going to be we're in Food Emporium. We're going to be in ShopRite. We're in Food Town, Key Food. We're looking we have a lot of stores that we're in, and we have a lot of things that are on the back burner that we're talking to large companies right now.
In the food business, there's push and there's pull. Push is you spend a lot of money, rent space, and you push your product. Pull is people ask.
Yeah.
Are you at pull yet? Are people really asking for your product?
We displayed at the Chicago show, and we displayed at the Fancy Food Show in New York City, and the response was incredible. I'd say we were one of the busiest booths there, and we've been getting a lot of calls from people saying that we saw your stand, we were very busy, we couldn't talk to you, but we want to carry your product, we're very interested, and we had a lot of people we spoke to while we were there. Our biggest concern right now is that we're getting such a high response rate, and I'm a small company that I might have to very quickly put in more production lines.
Now, are you selling on the internet or not?
I do have a website, and we do sell directly from there. There's a new website that'll be coming out soon. It's going to be, I think it's called snackfoods.com. I'm not 100% sure the name, but I was talking with somebody who's putting a snack food website together, and I'll probably be selling through him because it's much easier, logistically speaking.
Elaine Katz, are you still involved in the production? Is there quality control just like Mama used to make, or is this now all being done by faceless, nameless drones?
I don't know how much Jared likes this, but I'm constantly tasting, opening bags and tasting, and just to make sure that it is what it started out to be, because sometimes you can get a little too sure of yourself. But he has really maintained quality control. And I wanted to mention that at this food show that we just finished at the Javits Center, a lot of people were very interested in it because it's very good for a vegetarian diet and a vegan diet, which surprised me. That was the question I was asked most. Is this a vegetarian product?
Mm-hmm. Elaine, one of the interesting things that you're successful is when the big companies start sniffing around and seeing, are you for sale? Can we buy a minority interest? Have you gotten any of these sniffs from these big companies that's saying, that's a really good idea? Or are they going back to the labs and trying to copy this?
I'll answer that question if you don't mind. We've spoken to some companies, not anybody like Nabisco or anything, and it's really, a lot of these companies first want to see how the product does for a certain amount of time before they would be willing to purchase a company. So it's really too early to say.
And are you going to branch out into either other flavors or other products, or are you sticking with this line for now?
We have a whole bunch of ideas. We're considering putting out different colored pasta. A&J Snack Foods wants to be known as a snack food company that puts out unique products that aren't manufactured by anybody else, things you don't find.
Are you getting any resistance from the trade? The trade considers its space real estate, and they want to see that this stuff turns. Have you had any experience with turn?
I've had some people some companies or some stores that would like me to purchase space in their stores, but we're such at the point we're at right now. We could with the type of manufacturing we could do right now, we don't need to be buying manufacturing space. It's these large stores that want us to purchase space. We don't need to do that yet, and I'm convinced that when the product becomes well known, they're not going to be forcing us to put up any money.
The key thing is taste. It's got to taste good. It's got to be delicious. It's got to be really something like this, where we call in the food business moreish. You've got to have more.
All right, Dr. Moskowitz, that's all the time we have today to talk about these. But thank you, Howard Moskowitz, and the Katzes, Elaine and Jared Katz. Thank you for sharing your lasagna
Thank you very much.
product,
Thank
lasagna
you.
chips, with all of us. We appreciate it. You can look for them at a store near you or on the internet, as we said. All right, it's time now for our top 5. Let's check it out.